Right then, so a bit of a different one for you. Just as I'm probably not going to be getting out for a couple of days, I thought I'd actually show you how I make my rig for majority, 99% of my fishing, to be honest. I don't like overcomplicating things, you know. Don't get me wrong, but your hinge stiff rigs and all that, they're amazing rigs, don't get me wrong, but you know, the effort, time and all that you spend into making them, when one rig that I think is so simple and you can adjust it to a majority of situations, to be honest. You know, if you're fishing it in conjunction to a helicopter rig, you're fine over weed. If you want it just popped up over a bit of bait, you want it really low to the ground, you want it high off the ground. With this rig you can do all of that, and yeah, I just wouldn't change it. I mean, there's two versions of how I've done it. I was playing around with it the other day whilst I was on that longer session, and I said to my mate, it sits lovely doing it this way, and I've found ever since I've changed to doing this, I mean, before, don't get me wrong, the hook hold was amazing, but this, it's nailed straight in the bottom of the lip, and it's solid, and I think just doing these couple of extra little bits to it, I think makes it perfect. I'll show you the basic version first, and then I'll go over the next one. But so basically I start off with a 25-pound braid. I like quite a thick braid, either that or, I mean, I would go down to a 20. I just want something nice and heavy. I mean, I like the new Cortex tungsten one from Fox. I think that's quite nice, but I tend to like the Cortex matte in the gravelly brown. So I just start by taking, I don't know, around about 10 to 12 inches off, just to give me a nice bit to play with, and take that off. And like I say, this one I'll make the simple one first. So you got your braid. Next thing I'll do, I'll just give it a little bit of a pull, just to try and take most of the creases out. I do apologise for me dog in the background if you can hear him sniffing around. He's trying to eat a lottery ticket for some stupid reason. Right, next thing, just start with a simple overhand knot. Only put it through, straight through, and this will be the end to attach your hook bait. And I'll just get one of the little rig pulling tools, give that a nice pull. I do mine quite big. My loop purpose for that is I like the pop-up to actually sit over the knot, just so you've got no chance of the pop-up moving up and down the rig. So trim the excess off. Right, let's get our pop-up. These are my little specials. What I do with them is I actually coat them in rock salt. They do go a little bit harder, but they tend to soak up and they get a real salty outer to them. So it's a little tip for you. Just with your pop-ups, just put a couple of little drops of water in there, and then put a load of rock salt in there, and they suck it up. They do like it. So right, put that on. With this one as well, use a chod. I tend to find a choddy hook. You can use a normal hook, but I tend to find a choddy hook works better for it. And I've never been a one for big hooks, so I tend to go around about an 8, maybe a 6 at a push. So right, that's a pop-up on. Right, like I say, this is going to be the standard one. With the standard one, use a choddy hook. Like I say, with the other one though, you don't need to, and you'll see why in a little while. So I'm just getting a hook. Right, I just make sure they're nice and sharp as well. If they're not, which that one doesn't feel that great. These hook sharpening kits from Jag are a brilliant bit of kit, and it saves you having to keep buying hooks over and over again. You know, you can just file these down, and when you get a fish, all you got to do is just give it a little stroke over the top. Let's use razor again. Ow. That one out. So, yeah, so that's nice and sharp. Right, now with the hook position on the rig, like I say, this is a very simple pop-up rig. It's pretty much, you know, basically a bottom bait rig, just a simple bottom bait rig with a pop-up on, but a little bit different components and stuff. So I like to go where it starts to bend is where I like to put the pop-up. And then I go around about 7 to 8 times. And then go back through. And literally, that's most of the mechanics of the rig done. You know, if you want that a little bit tighter so it's not as high, but I tend to find once you've had the weight on, that sits nicely, the hook sits down, and as soon as the carp picks it up, it's straight in the mouth. Right, then what I do is, right where the eye is, I just strip back a tiny little bit of coating. I mean, you can get an actual braid stripper tool, or just use your teeth. And like I say, it's a very small little break. Right, and then these little beauties, right, which are the Fox quick change pop-up weights. Like the benefit to doing it with these, I find, is that one, putting a shot on, you can end up kinking your rig. It pinches to it if you want to adjust it. You got to try and move it, and you can, you know, you just catch it. And I just find with these quick change weights from Fox, I find they're brilliant. So basically, what they've got is they've got a slit down the middle, and what you do, that's that out. Right. So basically, with the actual pot, you get the elastic. So with the rig, I'll just start off at the eye, insert the line through the slit, get your elastic. What I tend to do is pinch it and pull, that slides through. Pull it right down in. Get your scissors and then just trim off at the end. And then, as you can see, you can fish that as that is. So basically it'd be sat down, pop up, be sat up, and that will literally just be off the deck. Simple as that, really easy, really effective. And then, like I say, for the adjusting, without pinching your braid or your rig, or, you know, with the shots you put it on online, it's going to kink it. With these, you purely just slide it, and then that will set up even further. You know, the rig will be down there, that will then be set up there, and it's so far, it's just brilliant for every kind of fishing scenario you need. And all I would do literally with that is finish it off with a anti-tangle sleeve. You know, if you really want to make these even small enough, you could even pop them in a PVA bag. I used to fish a lot with PVA bags. And again, just another overhand not. Now I tend to the length. Don't ask me why. A friend does it, and I picked up from him, and I just constantly do the length I'm happy with is from the top of my big finger down to where my wrist is, and then that's how I do my rig. So you got about 6 inches, 7 inches overhand knot. Again, pull it nice and tight, and there we go. With these, I quite like leaving a long tag end, just allows for any kind of slippage pull on the actual braid when you're playing fish, instead of doing it right up tight, because you can always just tuck it in the anti-tangle sleeve, and that is your finished rig. Like I say, very simple, very easy. And it works amazing. You haven't got to faff around with connecting bits of choddy filament, stuff like that for your hinge stiffs and messing around bending them. This sits perfectly, and I find for all of my aspects of fishing in weed, fishing on gravel, fishing in silt, it just works perfectly, and the hook hold is amazing. So that's that one. Right, now the next one, like I say, I was messing around with it a little bit the other day, and it, you know, it's not, I just think it's fantastic. The fish that I've had on that now, I've had the 3 fish on it since changing to this, and I just think it's brilliant. So, right, again, same bit of braid. Again, do your knot. Pulley tool. Pull down. That's it. Right. Right. So let's pinch that off there. I mean, if you want a bit more movement on this as well, you can strip back the actual hair bit where the pop-up goes, but I like to keep mine nice and tight, and it sits perfectly. Which what I'll do is, from one of my previous videos, I'll show you a clip of how this one that I'm tying now sits. Right, let's pop that on there. Oh, so if you're new to fishing and you're new to rigs and things like that, and you're wanting to start tying them, there's no point overcomplicating things and going, you know, over the top on things you're confusing yourself with on how they work and so forth. Keep it nice and simple, and you know, it's so much easier. Right, just trust me to get a phone call halfway through. Anyway, so start off with the same as you was doing on the last one. So put your pop-up on. Right, with your hook, like I say, a normal hook, not a choddy one. Tend to find like the curved shanky kinds. I mean, like this is a cranks, and I've had no issues with those hooks. I quite like them. The new ones they've done, the Karaku, or however you pronounce it, the ultra sharp ones, are good to the sense you get one carp and they're done with, because they blunt so easy and the points turn over, and you sharpen them down, they get too thin. So again, to the bend of the hook, 8 times round. Seven, and then back through. Right, and this is where it's a little bit different. So what I then get is one of the kickers and I'll just trim it down just slightly, just a slight bit too big, just a little bit, and then just to out a little bit of moisture. Pull it down. This is where it's a little bit fiddly because these are a nightmare to get over. But push it down over the eye, a little bit over the braid where you've done your turns. So this is fiddly, but you will get there. And then what that does, it just creates a bigger gape in the hook. So basically the same principles again, strip a little bit of the coating back, do it right at the end of the kicker. So get your shot again. Like I say, when I mean this is a little bit more complex, it's really not that different. The only difference is you using a normal hook and a kicker just to create that curve. And again, you could have that right down by the kicker and that would literally just sit on the ground. Like so, you know, if you just look at that, such an aggressive curve on that. And again, if you want to sit it up higher, you sit up higher, and like I say, with these, it's just going to pull the coating back a little bit more. You don't have to strip it all off, because if you want to pull it back over when you want to adjust it to suit, you can. So like I say, let's say we want it popped up about nearly an inch. And then it's set up, the curve of the hook is so aggressive that as soon as the fish picks that up, it's straight in the bottom lip. And you can see why it's so effective. And I suffer very little hook pulls from this rig. It really is so simple. You haven't got to faff around with, you know, thick choddy filament or anything like that. It's just straightforward stuff. It looks neat, it's nice. And it's just so simple to use, and like I say, you can use it in pretty much every aspect of your fishing. Weed, gravel, silt, whatever you're fishing over. Popped up over a bed of bait, in a PVA bag if you really want to. And as soon as, like I say, the bag explodes, that's just sat left in your pile of bait, just popped up. Like I say, you can do it with the shots. I just find these weights are so much better because they've got a lot more, you know, adjustment that you can do without buggering up your rigs, basically. So that they are my go-to rigs. You know, that's what I stick with. I mean, over here when I go over to France, which I normally do once a year, I tend to just use bottom baits. I don't really get on with the pop-ups over there, but because I never really tried them, to be fair. But that over here is my go-to rig, and it's probably one of my only rigs. I don't very often fish a bottom bait, and I just the hook hold on these is perfect. And like I say, you can get these sat up just above your bed of bait, just over it, just off the lake bed, and they're simple and easy to use and make. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That's an insight into what rigs I use. Like I say, I did say I'd go into it, but I never actually got round to doing it, because when you're fishing, you just want to be fishing. I'm trying to do my diaries and, you know, get better at doing all that stuff, but at the same time I'm there to do me fishing. But you know, we'll see. Hopefully I'll start picking it up more, but I hope you enjoyed this little informative video just on how I fish and how I tie my rigs. As it's so simple, and I just think it's a little bit neater than your standard simple pop-up rig with the split shot on there, because like I say, you don't have anything affecting your rig. It doesn't kink your rig in any way, and it doesn't clamp onto your line. So yeah, so I'll in the description leave everything that I use in the description for that, if you're interested in doing it. And then hopefully in a couple of days I'll catch you back out on the bank. So cheers for that, and I'll see you later.